What is Swapfell? Swapfell is an Underfell and Underswap AU combination, and it is considered a community-shared AU. This means that fans and creator can make their own canon, which resulted that there became many versions of the same AU, like Swapfell Red, Gold, Emerald and Purple. And today we want to focus on the most popular one, Swapfell Purple, which was created by a Tumblr user by the name of Kkhoppang. And his first post came out on January 28, 2016 and showed the Swapfell cast. But unlike 99.99% of all the other AU creators, this AU didn't focus on Sans and Papyrus, but on Alphys and Undyne. And maybe this was the reason why the fanbase started to purge this Swapfell AU. Another reason could be that they thought that Fellswap and Swapfell were the same AU and that this Tumblr user completely stole this AU. But anyways, my statement still stands that this was a dick move, fanbase. Dick move. Because now we have only limited amount of infos about this AU. The only thing we know is that the monster wear purple, a combination of the red of Underfell and blue through Underswap. And they are evil and want to hurt you, the player, in any way possible. Except for characters like Papyrus and Tammy. While Papyrus has a motive that is hidden from the player, Tammy really just want to help the player. But at last there was hope for the Swapfell Purple AU, because on October 11, 2017, another Tumblr user adopted the Swapfell AU with the name of Nishimori36, who would make comics, new canon and stories, as well as an ending for this AU. But I can only give you limited amount of information because most of these comics are written in Japanese. And still, because of its huge influence on the fanbase, the fanbase started to create more content for Swapfell Purple, like fan games, with the most important and influential one, which even got 1 million views on Merck's channel, was the Swapfell Papyrus fight, which was made by Makeart Air. But it was taken down from Game Jolt for unknown reason. And of course, any good fan game needs to have some good fan music, which is why Swapfell even has some good music. The most famous one being Dissension by Luna, which are still being covered. I must say, it's quite remarkable how such a hated AU that resulted into the purging of a Tumblr block could grow into such a beloved Undertale AU. But this once again shows how hate doesn't need to exist when we just hold in and think for a moment and start to realize, hey, I actually like this AU. Because now of our hate, we destroyed the complete Swapfell original canon, and maybe even alive, which is never okay. I repeat, it is never okay. Even if it's on the internet, it is never okay. We do not know if this burdens the person. So the main message of this video would be, please don't start hating right away and reflect on the AU and reflect on yourself. Have you ever wondered who is one of the most greediest person in the Undertale AU? Well, I never did, until I met Swapfell Purple Papyrus, the greediest Papyrus I ever seen. Why do I think that? And who is this Papyrus? Well, I will answer this right after the intro. Papyrus is one of the main antagonists of the Swapfell AU and is like in 99% of the Underswap AU the first monster you as the player encounter in Snowden, where he immediately asks you, the player, to hand over your filthy teddy bear. It must be stated that Papyrus is a grown adult who is old enough to smoke, which already resulted into his bone turning yellow because of it. And with his height of 6 feet and 1 inch, he doesn't need a teddy bear. But the fact that he doesn't have something annoys him, that he wants it. Like everything he doesn't have, he tries to steal it. He doesn't care if he loses an eye, which he already has lost. The reason of why he lost his eye is unknown. But what is known is that he wants things that he doesn't have. And no job and no morals can stop him when money is involved. Because in the end, Papyrus will do anything for money or something he doesn't have. He even tries to convince the player to work as a sex worker so that he can earn more money. Thankfully, this was taken out of canon. But let's return to the player and Papyrus' first interactions. He starts calling the player Snotface or Wallet because the player is for him a walking wallet who always has money that he can steal from. As you can see, he is rather rude. And worst of all, he doesn't do anything to gain money through hard work because most of the time he acts lazy. He even sleeps on his post and acts disrespectful towards his older brother Sans, who he thinks is rather annoying. But he still cares for Sans because he is his only brother. It is also shown that he loves to annoy people with his bad puns. The people he likes to annoy the most are Muffet and Sans. Muffet was even so annoyed by Papyrus that he got kicked out of her shop, but maybe it can change. I mean, look at the pacifist and genocide timeline. He probably changed his way there. Let's see, are there any canon information? No? Ah, fuck. So, okay, this will not be canon, but this is an interpretation. So let's take a look at the dialogue from 2 Swapfell fan games. The link to both fan games, if they're still existing, will be down in the description. So let's go on. In the pacifist timeline, he starts to like the human, but is afraid what the queen, Toriel, will do if the human fails to change her. So he decided to prove that the human needs to change and needs to kill Papyrus so that he can change or kill the queen and stop her tyranny. While in the genocide run, well, it's a genocide run. He tries to stop the player while asking the player why they did all of this. Why they didn't allow monster kind to have a happy ending. He tries to kill you so that he can have your soul to set all monster kinds free, to allow them to have at least one bit of hope, one time when all of them are free. He also makes comments about you resetting and loading as well as saving, meaning he has at least a hunch of what you are doing. But in the end, this all doesn't matter because you beat Papyrus and finish the genocide run. A normal day in Snowdin. The birds are singing, flowers are blooming. On days like this, everything would be great. Everyone could relax. But before anyone can even start to relax, a laughter can be heard from afar, as well as the sound of bone shatter. It was laughter of the devil of Snowdin, the self-proclaimed magnificent Sans. But who is this magnificent Sans, and what does he want? Hello and welcome back to Tell Canon Facts, and today we want to dissect a Sans from the Swapfell AU. So here are the facts that we know of. Sans has a scar on his left eye. He wears a purple scarf and uses a scythe. He wears grey shorts with black boots. His battle body is grey with a purple triforce on his left. He appears to wear a black shirt beneath his battle body. His shoulder pieces are sharp and he wears purple gloves. In both eyes he has a purple triforce symbol, but the right eye has even a white circle behind the symbol. Sans in the Swapfell purple universe is an unstable guy who acts and sings with his energetic yet dangerous demeanor. But even with this demeanor, he still has a common habit of swearing without using swears. This energetic and dangerous demeanor resulted into him always fighting anyone he sees. His favorite victims are the residents of Snowdin, which he frequently fights. It is theorized because of his fights all around the town and more brutal training with Alphys that Swapfell Sans is stronger than the OG Underswap Sans. But his demeanor and strength can't get him his brother approval, because his own younger brother Papyrus sees Sans as an annoyance because of all his fights, and he is also seen by him as a maniac. But all of this would change when the human came into town. It is stated in the canon that Sans didn't want to kill the human when he first saw him, but wanted to capture him so that he can show the human to his mentor and trainer Alphys and get the okay to kill the human. But this plan should be folded, because even though Sans didn't like the human at first because he saw the human as too weak, he still let the human go. Only after the human gave Sans a promise that whenever the human was about to die, he would call Sans. This was not an act of his kindness, but an act of getting the human soul and a lot of EXP when the human was about to die. Of why he wanted to do this is still unknown, but I assume that this is a plan to get more recognition in the Royal Guard. But whatever. As you can see, there's not a lot to know about Swapfell Sans, but the bare minimum, like that he is an annoyance to his brother, that he is brutish, and that he is trained by Alphys, things that were already established in the Underswap canon and are now converted into edginess. Who is Swapfell Asgore? Asgore is the former king of the underground. I know, what a twist. Who was banned to live in the ruins after his wife Toriel declared war on humanity, which Asgore saw as a bad idea, and because he disagreed with her, he was banished to the ruin and was stripped of all his titles. But even though he lost all of his titles, he wouldn't let anyone steal his strip, and so he decides to overthrow the queen by planning a rebellion. Because of his let's finish the job attitude, he dislikes puzzles, which is why he destroys every puzzle in the ruin, because he thinks these puzzles are useless, because when someone is trying to kill him, why should there be stopped by puzzles when Asgore could quite easily kill his enemy? But even though he is cold on the outside, he does show his soft side to those he swore to protect or got his respect. One of these examples is Kara, because after Kara fell down in the underground, Asgore completely ignored them. But after Kara completed their trip through the ruins, Asgore came to respect her and welcomed them into his home. Because of the newfound respect, Asgore swore to protect Kara, and because of that, he poisoned Kara's tea to assure that she will stay in the ruins. But even after then, Kara wanted to leave the underground and wanted to help everyone. So Asgore decided to train them in the art of magic, as well as the art of dodging without hurting someone, because Kara wanted that. So, how does the world of Swapfell look like? I mean, the Swapfell gold location are based around the Cold War. Undertale main location are based around space. And Breaking Bad locations are not Undertale related at all. Then how does the Swapfell purple landscape look like? Well, after searching long and wide and ignoring the fandom facts, I found an old post from the Imuni party who saved a lot of notes from the original author and is, by the way, the new owner of Swapfell Purple. Anyways, this person did a post with a list of all the location, but not only all the location of Swapfell, but also a full character list of all the characters. But the only problem is that the text is full in Japanese, which is why I use the Google Translator app. So if there are some mistakes, I will apologize beforehand. I would be happy for your comments. So let's get started. Let's begin with the ruins. Like the original Undertale, the ruins are abandoned, but they are destroyed here in Swapfell. They are destroyed, and that's because of Asgore's rage. He also destroys all the puzzles. But even though the ruins are destroyed, Muffin and Grilby services exist, where both of them try to sell both their product to the residents of the ruin. Now comes Snowdin Forest. The forest right before Snowdin is full of traps from Sans, which all doesn't work, because Sans was too prideful to ask Papyrus for help, which is why none of them work. But still, there are some traps from Papyrus that does work and will kill player instantly. Now, let's go to Snowdin. Snowdin was once the pride of the underground, where people could live prideful lives. But one day, Sans and Papyrus appeared and made the town into a dumpster fire. And now only the lower class citizens can live there. Because of that, all the houses are old and about to fall apart, and the hotel is from the lowest quality. The only place where at least some part of quality exists is the muffin shop, but the owner Muffet needs to pay Papyrus. So why is that? I only assume that she needs to pay Papyrus for protection money, so that Papyrus would not destroy the bar. Let's cover Waterfall as next. Waterfall is a death trap for monster. And this place is for the lowest of the lowest member of society, which are poorer than homeless people. Because Waterfall houses the famous echo flowers. And in this universe, they are deadly for monster, but not to humans. The only thing you as the player can find is an Alphys and Undyne fanfiction, written and drawn by Alphys. After Waterfall comes Hotland. After the player beats Alphys, you immediately get kidnapped by Brady and Caddy, who takes the role of the gay role guards guy. And they immediately bring you to Undyne's lab, and we don't talk about her lab. And finally, the core. The core is for the high society, where only the richest of the richest live. And yeah, that was it for the world of Swapfell.
So what is the ending to Swapfell Purple? Well, to be completely honest, I don't really know since it's in Japanese. But we can assume that Kara somehow managed to get every monster in the underground their redemption. But hey, who cares, since it turns out the service is completely destroyed. It seems like Kara was escaping from an atomic war or something like this. And after seeing this, the monster decide to rebuild the Suffice Your Return in the underground. And that was Swapfell Purple. For more Fell AUs, check out my video about Underfell, since this video is also super cool.